from the Wiley Vision studio in Spokane, Washington. The Stephen James Wiley Show.
Well, how are you this fine day? I'm out for a drive. Been kind of doing my morning ritual. I'm wandering this morning. If I'm honest, I am wandering. I have driven. I want to look at electronic drum sets. Why? Because I've always wanted one. I think my kids would like it. I think it would help me make some music. I also think that I would probably regret buying it because I wouldn't use it as much as I would think, and then I would just feel dumb. But I might do it anyway, because sometimes you got to do some dumb things in life, and they don't turn out to be as dumb as you thought. I don't know. But you know what's crazy is Guitar Center's not open till noon. That didn't used to be the way it worked. So it's not noon, so I'm not going there. I went to Pawn 1 because why wouldn't you? It's a pawn shop. Pawn shops are awesome. They didn't have any electronic drum sets, but they had some cool guitars, which led to some really deep thoughts about amplifiers, which I won't share with you because you will not care. Yeah. So there's some wandering going on. But hope you had a good Easter. I had a good Easter. Good Friday came and went. That's the day they killed Jesus. And it's also the day that my grandpa, 88 years old, left this earth. And my sister and I and my aunt were with him. We were sitting there together, and he quit breathing, and in a very distinct, profound way, peacefully left his body. I did not see him leave, but the vibe changed for sure. It's pretty interesting. There's a diverse number of ways, as we all know, that you can die. But even when you die of natural causes, there's like all kinds of different ways it happens. My grandma, apparently, I wasn't there. My grandpa's wife, my grandma. Apparently when she passed away, she kind of did the fish out of water thing and kind of gulped for air. And then she was gonzo. And Grandpa didn't do that. And my other grandpa, I was there when he passed away. I've only been around when two people have passed away. And perhaps you've been in the room when that's happened. It's a fascinating and profound mystical kind of thing. But my grandpa, on my dad's side, when he passed away, it was real, he was in the hospital, so he had the monitors and everything on, but he just passed away. And his heart kept beating, though. They're like, he's gone, his heart's going to slowly stop beating. It's not like in the movies where it was like, and he's gone. No, it didn't happen that way, and I was kind of surprised. They're like, yeah, his heart's just going to slowly stop beating now. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. But he was off the premises while that happened. He was no longer a part of the scene. It was just the biology given out. The motor quitting. So it's kind of interesting. But my grandpa was a very good man. Both my grandpas were great guys. But 88 years old. And he had a story, man. They all do, especially the generation, that fought in wars. My generation's been very fortunate. We haven't had to get drafted into a war. We've had wars, but only those who volunteered to participate in our military were in those wars. And God bless those guys and gals. But, my grandpa, I think he actually volunteered, but everybody else got drafted. My dad almost got drafted into Vietnam, but they decided medically he wasn't good to go because he had some surgery stuff and whatever when he was a kid. But the lives they had and even their family situations were crazy. My grandpa, check this out. when he was 9 years old. So his mom would send him to a boarding school on the west side, which, I'm sorry, that's kind of weird. That was not a normal thing people did back then. And I don't think they were rich. But he went to a boarding school in Marysville, and his family lived in Spokane, Washington, eastern Washington, right? And so he gets home from school one spring, at the end of the year on a train back from Seattle. And the year before, at age 9, his father, or at age 10, somewhere in there, had passed away, died. His dad was young. He was a businessman, etc. And he loved his dad. His dad died. So then he goes away to school for the year, comes back, and his mom is waiting for him with a bunch of kids he doesn't know, like 2 or 3 kids that he doesn't know there. And she says, "You have a new dad. I married a man, and these are his children. They're your brothers and sisters now." And he had more kids than just the ones that were at the train station. And their mom had just died. And so she married this guy because she felt like God told her to. Right? Which, who doesn't do that, right? And he had 5 or 6 kids, and they were kind of a feral bunch of kids. And hold on, I'm backing up while I talk in the old Lincoln. And so that's his family going forward. And it doesn't sound fun. And I don't think he was all that excited about it. And I don't think he appreciated it. But he made it work. Obviously, they all made it work. It is what it was. But what a deal. And then the story of him meeting my grandma. They were married for, 50 plus years. And, it's just a whole thing. His life is beautifully done. He overcame hardship. And, it kind of makes you look at your own life and think, man, is my life that hard? Has my life been that crappy? Maybe yours has. Maybe it hasn't. I don't, It's interesting. I was thinking about, because I think, I've had a great life. I know a lot of wonderful people. I have parents who loved me and all those kinds of things. And then I think, have I had hardships? And sure enough, if I really go look for it, I can find all the shitty things that have happened to me in my life. And there's some doozies in there. Some really, really rough stuff that I will not share here. But I don't ever think about it. It's like I've just chosen to push that aside and not make it a part of my identity. Now, has it been a part of my identity at different times? Yeah, it has. But at this point in my life, it's not. And it made me grateful that I had to make an effort to go find those things. I'm curious how that strikes you, if you've had to do something similar, or if you think, hey, or maybe you're like, man, my life has totally sucked, Steve. Screw you, you positive son of a... Who knows? I don't know what you think. But for me, it was interesting to process that and made me grateful. Grateful that I have a good point of view on life. Grateful that I'm not a bitter son of a bitch. And grateful that I had examples like my grandpa who, did his best to live a positive life. And my other grandpa, my dad's dad, that guy, his shoulder was rewired together after whatever happened to him. I don't know if it was the Korean War or what. But his left shoulder was all wires. He had no shoulder for the last 60 years of his life. And then his hip was all jacked up, and they didn't, swap out hips back then. So he just had a bum hip that was like his weather indicator. Like, oh, it's going to rain tomorrow. My hip's killing me. And yet he was the most upbeat, positive person. If you asked him about the war stuff, He would not tell you a word, and he would look at you with a look that you did not like. A very sad, hollow, very sad look. And he would say, I don't want to talk about that stuff. And then he would go back to being the most positive, loving, upbeat guy you ever met, who loved everybody. I'll never forget when he met Jerry Rice. We were at the Pro Bowl in Hawaii when I was a kid. And we went to the hotel where all the players are. And Jerry Rice is there. My grandpa's in his wheelchair. And my grandpa could talk to anybody and make anybody love him. And he hollers across the lobby, Jerry! Jerry! How you doing, buddy? Jerry walks all the way across the room. How you doing, sir? You know, just sits down, visits with my grandpa. It was just badass. My grandpa was so cool. I've had just great relatives. And now all of my grandparents are gonzo. They're on the other side, hopefully rooting me on. And the rest of us, kids, grandkids. And, you know, they're probably just doing other things. You know, I doubt they're just sitting there, you know, watching me take a dump. That's the horrible thing. Like, if they're just sitting there watching you, that's not the reality show I want them seeing. Oh, man. Anyhow, hey, I love y'all. Thanks for driving with me. I just got home. That's what's going on. Happy late Easter. Jesus rose again. Fingers crossed he does it again next year. I think there's a good chance it'll happen. So, all right. Talk to you soon.